And now it's time for Hobo Reviews with Willie B.A. Hobo. Tonight's review, Animal House. Oh my God, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my whole life. Louis, spoilers. Oh no, this movie has spoilers. There's these college kids from Delta Tau Chi, led by Bluto, who like to party all night and party all day, because they don't do class stuff just like me. Except I'm not a drunky McDrunky hen like them. I'm more of a high on life, if you know what I mean. But anyways, they go to school, and they don't do well. Dean Wormer is like, get these kids out of here. You know what? I'm going to put them on double secret probation. And you want to know what double secret probation means? It's the worst kind of probation in the history of mankind. It means you've been on probation 2 times secretly. Isn't that funny, my man? So it's like, you're on probation. Well, shoot, probation. You're on double probation. Well, then there's the Cola Bowl, the double secret probation. I'm putting you on double secret probation. Wow, he really went that far. So because of that, they are on thin ice, in other words. Meaning that if they screw up once, they're out of here. Just like, yeah. Why can't I snap badly? Whatever. So anyways, they just keep on doing what they do best. Goof around, drink, and goof around. So one night, they decide to make fun of the drill sergeant from the other Delta, or fraternity. And in doing so, they mess with their horse. Except Flounder doesn't really mess with the horse. He really does. Well, I'm getting too far. I keep missing parts because it's been a while. So here's what happens. They have their plans. They get their names. You have Flounder, Pinto, White Pinto, or not. There's also Bluto. There's also a bunch of other nicknames. Otter and Boone and all that wonderful fun stuff. Then they go make fun of. Then they make fun of the drill sergeant by taking his white horse. And if you remember from the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, I had to remember that name right there, white horses are evil. So in other words, they're trying to kill the evil horse. Except they don't really kill the evil horse. Flounder just does this. Which is kind of how Commander Mazander must have felt after he did it with Penny. P.S. You probably should watch his review of Hop. The horse dies! And then Pluto comes out. And D-Day comes out. And they're like, holy shit! There were plugs in that gun. I didn't even point the thing at him. Holy shit! There were plugs in that gun. Maybe he had a heart attack. Which is essentially what happened. Holy shit! What? And they go running off like that. And the next day, the horse is lying upside down, dead as a horse. Which makes sense since it's a horse. So while Dean Wormer is talking about all the homecoming parade stuff, some dude comes in with a chainsaw. Probably gonna slay the horse for meat. Then they decide to go golfing, and doing one of the balls hits the drill sergeant in the helmet. And he goes riding off like that one dude from the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. Except in that case, he was dead. In this case, he's like, help me, somebody stop this horse. Which explains the neck collar thingy on his neck when they go to lunch. Because Bluto takes a bunch of food and he's like, I'm a zero. Get it? They go running around and around and around and around, and he's like, perfect! So he can get out of there. He also goes poking around the sorority group, says he can see the girls. And he's like, yeah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, no, that's more like it. That's more like it. But then he's like, which is kind of how Commander Mizander must have felt after he did it with Penny. Which, again, I mentioned, watch his review of Hop. I'm pretty sure it's amusing him. Heck, I think yours truly's in that one. Maybe it was another one, I can't remember. Anyway, so then Warmer tells the group that they've been on double secret probation since the beginning of the semester. And guess what? Their midterms, they cheated on. Except they cheated so badly that they still flunked and got every stinking answer wrong. So, you know what this means? One more slip-up. One more mistake. And this fraternity of yours has had it at Faber. And what do they do after he leaves? Toga! 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 They throw a toga party! And invite the dean's wife! God, that is one hot milf who's drunk as an egg. And they do it with a bunch of girls, and they dance. You know you make me wanna shout. Keep my hands in the sun. Ooh, my hands in the sun. Ooh, my hands in the sun. Top up! Yeah. So then, they do it with one of the Pinto does it with the 18-year. Except she's not really 18. And then she passes out. Kind of like what Penny did last night when she did it with Commander Mizander. Hey, Mr. Flame of a Boy, isn't that supposed to be you? I'm not my word too long. Yeah, go cry it out, you little crybaby. Commander Mizander's right, you are a wuss. I went without guacamole, mama. So then, his inner devil's like, fuck her brains out, suck her titties. The angel's like, Lord, for Christ's sake, you will not put a finger on that Sue. So he decides not to. And then we move on to the next day. And, oh, by the way, there's a trial for the sake of the trials. For the sake of keeping that Delta at Faber, that fraternity at Faber. What they ultimately do? You've done it this time, Buster. I'm going to revoke your tire. And if you wise guys do one more thing, I'm going to kick you out of this college. No more fun of any kind. So of course they're going to have fun because that's what this fraternity's all about. So they go to another college and do it with a bunch of other girls. And then they come back and then they say their report cards. And they're like, well, you're done. And then they're getting their grades and Flounder's like, hello, 0.2. And then, wait, let me do it the proper way. Where's some glasses that I can use? Oh, here we go, right there. Let me pretend to be Dean Warmer just a second there. So, yeah. Fat, drunk, and stupid. There's nowhere to go in life, son. Then he reads Bluto's. Mr. Bloop. Oh, yeah, and Bluto's got, like, except there's two of them in his note, but I'm not going to do that. So then the dean's like, Mr. Blutowski. 0.0. So he essentially throws him out of college, except they have one last trick up their sleeve. And that trick up their sleeve is they're going to ruin the homecoming parade. Why? Because they like to have fun. So Flounder's like, may I have 10,000 marbles? This is so great. I need a bar. And they ruin all the floats. And some girl in a bunny, supposed to be dressed like a playboy at the time, I don't know, falls into the bed of a 10-year-old boy. And he's like, thank you, God. And all this crazy stuff happens. And guess what? The fraternity lives to tell the tale. And they go on to live happy lives. Except for Dean Warmer, who ends up dying of a heart attack. Well, I don't know. They don't really explain his side of the story. But I, for one, love this movie because it's fun, it's energetic, it's got John Belushi, for God's sakes. This movie was a hit, and if you definitely are a college kid, check it out. This is definitely good for you, because you probably understand what they're going through. This is Willie B.A. Hobo saying, John! You got John! Come on up, big girl, will you? Come on, John! Come on! I need the money so I can go to college so I can party at like the Delta time!